A lot of extra time spent away from just focusing on Nash.
As it takes them away from focusing on the one thing new mothers like Allison feel needed the most. I'm Dan Grossman.
Dan, thank you for that report. Well, that's going to do it for us today. I'm Michelle London. Denver 7 News at 5 starts right now.
We just had one moose charge the first victim.
A wild moose stopped in its tracks.
They're advising that their husband got trampled by a moose, and the moose was chasing them.
2 people and a dog attacked on a Boulder County trail, forcing deputies to stop the moose from charging at others.
Warning shot fired, we got a moose coming back.
Emotional testimony from an 11-year-old survivor of the Robb Elementary School shooting.
He stood there and shot my teacher and told my teacher goodnight.
What did you tell 911?
I told her that we need help and to send the police.
As lawmakers take historic steps toward gun safety, some push back.
Blaming the gun rather than the criminal is not helpful nor productive.
And with a new Broncos owner, could a new or upgraded stadium be in the works?
It'll be the number one decision the new owner will have to make.
Good evening to you, and thank you for joining us for Denver 7 News at 5. I'm Ann Trujillo.
I'm Shannon Ogden. Glad you're with us tonight. We're going to begin with a moose in Boulder County that wouldn't stop charging at people on a local trail.
It ended up injuring 2 people and a dog outside Nederland, which is where we find Denver 7's Ivan Rodriguez.
So, Ivan, the moose returned twice after being scared off by deputies.
That's right. The incident happened on the West Magnolia trailhead. From where we're standing in Nederland, it's still about a mile up the road. Colorado Parks and Wildlife tells me it appears the moose was protecting its calf when hikers came in contact with it.
They're advising that their husband got trampled by a moose and broke their leg, and the moose was chasing them. Scanner traffic from this morning paints a picture of the terrifying scenes after a man, woman, and their dog came face to face with a moose.
They went around a bend in the trail. There's a big rock nearby and had a surprise encounter with a cow moose, and led to that moose charging and attacking and injuring one of the individuals.
Jason Clay with Colorado Parks and Wildlife says the moose appeared to be protecting its calf.
There was a calf reported in the area and reported at the site.
Shortly after being trampled the first time, hikers were able to call for help, and a Boulder County deputy arrived firing beanbag rounds to scare it off. While helping the injured hikers, the moose returned again. This time, the deputy firing a warning shot.
A warning shot fired, the moose coming back at 8:21.
Just a warning shot, I didn't shoot at the moose.
For a second time, the moose was scared away, but only for it to return and charge again while they were evacuating the trailhead. This time, the deputy shot and killed the moose.
It's kind of a bummer for the moose because I know that there's not that many moose in the area.
For Scott Holman, who's used to riding his bike in the area, it's a scary situation for anyone.
Moose are really dangerous, and you just don't want to get between their young and their babies.
Colorado Parks and Wildlife says it is investigating the incident. Their main focus now, though, is finding the calf. Officials tell me they don't expect it to survive very long on its own. Live in Nederland, Ivan Rodriguez, Denver 7.
All right, Ivan, thank you very much for that. Also, Parks and Wildlife successfully relocated another moose seen near residential neighborhoods in Boulder and Erie this week. Most recently, it was spotted this morning in Thornton near the Todd Creek Golf Club. Officers successfully tranquilized it this afternoon, and that 2-year-old moose, by the way, weighed about 700 pounds.
Right now on Capitol Hill, the U.S. House is debating gun safety measures. They include raising the age limit to purchase an automatic rifle and banning high-capacity ammunition magazines. Now, this comes after a survivor and victim's family spoke out before a Senate committee about the Uvalde Elementary School shooting. And Denver 7's Jason Grenauer is live in our newsroom now to break down everything that happened in our nation's capital today.
Yeah,
Jason.
good evening, and we want to start on the floor of the House where that 6-pack of gun control bills are being voted on right now. Colorado Congresswoman Diana DeGette led the discussion ahead of those votes. Those 6 things make up the Protect Our Kids Act. We want to give you a run through of what those bills would do. Raising the age to buy semi-automatic weapons, banning high-capacity magazines, banning bump stocks and ghost guns, increasing storage requirements, and cracking down on so-called straw purchases of guns. Now, versions of these types of measures have been passed by the House before, but then they have stalled in the Senate.
People are going to speak today very strongly with this package, and we hope that these components will be a part of the Senate bill. We hope that this gives strength to the Senate to be able to come up with a strong bipartisan compromise that actually will do something to begin to stop this gun violence.
So even if all of these bills are passed, they do face a difficult road in the Senate. Now, separately, a bipartisan group of senators are meeting to discuss guns. CNN is reporting that group says they are making progress, but the timing of any kind of deal is still unclear. Now, all of this happening the same day that survivors and others impacted by recent mass shootings in Buffalo, New York and Uvalde, Texas, testified on Capitol Hill. Among those, an 11-year-old survivor of Robb Elementary who covered herself in her classmates' blood in order to hide, as well as an emergency doctor at the local hospital in Uvalde.
I thought he was going to come back to the room, so I grabbed the blood and put it all over me.
2 children whose bodies have been pulverized by bullets fired at them, decapitated, whose flesh had been ripped apart.
Very emotional testimony, difficult to hear there. Also today, the Department of Justice announced it will investigate the response to the Uvalde shooting. Attorney General Merrick Garland said that this is not a criminal investigation. They're simply looking into that response. An emotional day, a busy day in Washington. We will, of course, keep you posted throughout the progress of all of this on air and online. Live in the newsroom tonight, I'm Jason Grenauer, and back to you.
Yeah, certainly a tough day. Thank you, Jason. Here in Colorado, multiple cities in the Denver metro are taking action on guns. Boulder City Council passed several gun control measures, including a ban on both the sale and possession of assault weapons. City Council also voted to ban ghost guns, raise the age to buy a weapon to 21, and add a 10-day waiting period before a purchase can be made. Other safety measures were also passed in Lafayette, Louisville, and Superior. And to read more about those, you can head over to thedenverchannel.com.
This morning in Jefferson County, 2 hot air balloons got blown off course because of the high winds. One landed near West Bellevue in Littleton. Construction workers, in fact, had to run over there and make sure the balloon didn't float up into traffic. Now, the other balloon landed near the lake at Bear Creek Lake Park, and nobody was injured.
After months of speculation, I bet you've heard the Broncos have a new ownership team.
The sale, more than $4 billion, and the ownership group includes the heir to Walmart. And Nick Rothschild is here. How about that?
Yeah, this sale could mean big changes for Broncos country, right?
Huge changes, very expensive changes. But I am most looking forward to the PA announcer welcoming shoppers to the Walmart Supercenter field at Mile High Stadium here in the near future. I mean, the chance for puns and grocery store related humor here are endless. But what Rob Walton ownership means practically for the Broncos, well, that's simple. Cash, lots of it. Walton's net worth is estimated at around $58 billion, even after paying what we believe will end up being north of $4.6 billion for the Broncos. Walton becomes far and away the richest owner in the NFL. According to Joe Ellis, Walton's first priority will likely be sorting out a new stadium for his new toy to play in, which of course is easier said than done. But most importantly, according to Ellis, the other owners want Walton to be present.
We want a person that is going to be present and is going to be engaged and not be distant from his or her franchise. Be very visible, be very present.
Walton himself had to say via statement. Well, I guess we won't show it to you, but he did outline how excited the Walton Penner family is to steward the Broncos, and spoke glowingly about the fans and the state of Colorado as well. He also said they've admired the Broncos for a long time, and that's only grown as they've learned more about the team as they've gone through this purchasing process. Also worth noting, Melody Hobson, she's a part of the ownership group, prominent black businesswoman, serves as the chair of the board for Starbucks, among many other ventures. So, Broncos have their new ownership, but that new stadium thing's going to be a little tricky. If you've peeked at Denver's real estate recently, you know things are expensive.
Yes, they're not rolling back prices.
Not there,
But
no.
they do have the money, so that's a start.
Right, thanks, Nick.
Thank you, Nick. So, $4.6 billion, clearly a lot of money. So let's put that into perspective for you. You could buy 372 million hot dogs at Coors Field with $4.6 billion, and that's what this year's price is at $12.50 a dog. And then let's put it in terms of our abs. The average ticket price for one seat for the whole Stanley Cup Series last year was around $4,600. If you apply those numbers to this year's series, you could buy a ticket for every seat in Ball Arena for all 4 potential home games and still have about $4.3 billion left over.
And of course, we are still waiting to see who the Avs will play in the finals.
Tampa Bay Lightning evened out the series last night, 2 games apiece against the New York Rangers. So whenever the finals are set, you can watch the Stanley Cup Finals right here on Denver 7.
You can also watch the NBA Finals right here on Denver 7 tonight. Game 3, Celtics-Warriors. Coverage starts at 6:30, followed by a post-game edition of Denver 7 News.
When I got the opportunity to work here and feel like I wasn't being judged by the way I express myself.
Making repairs and breaking stigmas.
One local garage is pushing the boundaries and paving the way for mechanics of all backgrounds.
To have an option where I would feel totally comfortable and totally seen and safe was really huge.
And Catholic bishops of Colorado sending a message to state lawmakers who voted in favor of reproductive rights.
Oh boy, was it comfortable today, but we're on the edge of a big heat wave.
Plus, a state park trail now has a new name that is so uniquely Colorado.
I grew up, of course, as many Coloradans do, with a great love of John Denver and the way his music really celebrated our way of life in Colorado.